Welcome to Daily Motivation. Today's topic is, how do you trust God in difficult times? Part 2, Psalm 20 verse 7. Here are two biblical truths that can strengthen our faith in uncertain times. 1. Our peace comes from God, not from our circumstances. What makes you feel peaceful? Perhaps it's being with a particular person, or in a particular place. Maybe there are things you like to do to feel calm and relaxed. In difficult or uncertain times, it can be hard to find a sense of peace. Anxiety and stress rush in, and we may feel like we're barely hanging on. Where do we find peace when everything is falling apart? In his letter to the Philippian church, the Apostle Paul wrote this: "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Philippians 4:6-7. Paul knew better than most what it takes to trust God in difficult times. He wrote his letter to the Philippians from prison, not knowing how long he would be there, or whether he would end up being released or executed. He had lived through shipwrecks, beatings, accusations, and slander, yet his faith remained confident and assured. If we're asking, how do Christians handle uncertainty? We should definitely listen to his advice. There are so many things in life that can make us feel anxious and afraid, and often they're things we can't do anything about. When the worries come, we can let them take over, or we can choose to hand them over to God, tell Him how we're feeling, and ask Him for help. This isn't a one-time thing. It's a habit to keep going back to God again and again, opening our hearts to Him every day, every hour, or even every few minutes if we need to. The things we can't control are not ours to hold on to. They are God's to carry. Peace in uncertainty. When we hand our worries over to God, Paul says He gives us His peace. But what does that mean? We might expect a calm, relaxed feeling, but it's much deeper and long-lasting than that. God's peace rests on the foundation of our friendship with Him. We know Him, and we know that whatever happens, we are safe in His hands. This is how Paul could say earlier in the same letter, "For me, to live is Christ, and to die is gain." Philippians 1:21. Even the danger of death could not take away Paul's peace. What worries do you need to hand over to God today? Where in your life do you need to know His peace? 2. We have a hope for a glorious future. The truth that Paul had absorbed into his very core was that whatever happens to us in this life, we are looking forward to an amazing future with God. He was able to keep his faith during uncertainty, hardship, and suffering, because he saw these troubles as light and momentary compared to the eternal glory that awaited him on the other side. 2 Corinthians 4:17. How much time do you spend thinking about what that eternal glory will be like? For many of us, heaven is a vague, otherworldly concept. When I was a child, I for some reason pictured in my mind a giant yellow room. But the descriptions of eternity in the Bible are far more familiar than we might guess. If you feel rather attached to trees and lakes and sunsets and even cities, you'll be happy to learn that Earth has a future too. Revelation 21 says this: "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. The first heaven and the first earth had disappeared. Now there was no sea. And I saw the holy city, the New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. It was prepared like a bride dressed for her husband. I heard a loud voice from the throne. It said, 'Now God's home is with people. He will live with them. They will be His people. God Himself will be with them and will be their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death, no more sadness, no more crying, and no more pain. All the old ways are gone. The one who was sitting on the throne said, "Look, I am making everything new." Revelation 21:5 NIV. This picture of eternity is physical, grounded. It's not clouds and harps, but this world, remade, reborn, and freed from the destructive effects of sin. Imagine the final scene of Disney's Beauty and the Beast, where the enchantment is lifted and the gloomy castle is transformed into a bright white palace. Best of all, we will finally see God face to face. In Colossians 3:2, Paul tells us to keep focusing our eyes on the things above, the things that will last forever. When we're struggling to trust God in difficult times and to hold on to our faith during uncertainty, it's so important to remind ourselves of the things that never change: God Himself, His faithful love for us, and the rock-solid hope of our future with Him. How do you imagine eternity? Why not spend a few minutes thinking about it now? Remain blessed. Kindly like, share, and comment your prayers for more.